Champ now.
Yes, I didn't say. What are you looking so sad about, Champ?
I'm surprised at you. I mean, I'm really insulted. I mean, that's not right what you just said.
What do you mean? What I just said?
I mean, I'm gonna get a drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talk about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Clay, during one time during my career, I went on a Bomber of the Month tour.
Bomber of the Month? I would have been a bomb compared to you.
Well, you've been on the tour.
Oh, man.
Watch this. A left-right combination by Rocky draws a beautiful left hook counter by La Starza. Oh, his man down. La Starza has been knocked down, but never out. As he himself puts it, I know how to get up. During this, and ducking under those shots by Marciano. Watch.
What's happening, my people? It's Cat Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. Now, as usual, before we get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. It's just boxing talk. We're a group of people who just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. And you don't have to have a podcast. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. That's all. Miss Cass, hashtag JBT, Azim Shabazz, Thomas Hill, Melanin Queen 27. Salute to everyone and welcome to another episode of Cass Sports, The Box Storian. Today, the best boxers of all time, pound for pound. And you know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's The Box Storian bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. How's everyone today? This is the Wednesday afternoon Hump Day edition of Cass Sports, The Box Storian. Hope everyone's day is going well. I see the queen of the moderators, Melanin Queen 27, is here early today. Salute Melanin Queen 27. Appreciate you 1,000%. Thomas Hill and Azim Shabazz. And of course, Miss Cass. Today we're going to talk about, I've always did a lot of different categories like the best southpaws, the best switch hitters, the top chins, the hardest punches. But today we're going to look at the best boxers of all time, pound for pound. I got 25 of them from all eras, from 25 to 1. Okay? But first, our history lesson for today, well, it's the boxing lesson today. We're going to talk about judging, okay? I know I did entire shows on judging, but this is going to be like a brief refresher course. It's going to be like our 2 to 2:30 segment today will be on boxing judging. But how is everybody today? Who fights this weekend? I didn't really check that out yet. Had all the buzz about this weekend, what happened in the Tank Lamont Roach fight. Haven't really had time to worry about next weekend. Everybody's still a buzz about that. Greasegate. They call it Greasegate. That was too much information. He could have kept that part about the head done and all that to itself. Tank. But Greasegate, yeah. But I would like to see him running back. Where were you yesterday, T Hill? We had a good panel, me, Ant, and Define Only One and Real. Chopped it up about Greasegate and the great performance, Gary Russell. But we're gonna get some time today. I want to get haven't got Tom Hill thoughts on the events of the past weekend yet in the boxing ring. So yeah, today we'll check that out at the end, like 2:30, 3:30. Yeah, with a little link time. Okay, but appreciate everybody coming through today. Yeah, I would like to see him run it back though. Yeah, immediate rematch. Good close fight like that, you know. Yeah. The thing I was most surprised about was Lamont's chin. I underrated his chin. He took some pretty good flush shots from Tank in there and just fired right back. They might need to make him cut some of that big, thick beard he got off down there. It might have cushioned some of those blows. You know what I mean? But great fight. Gary Russell Jr. was just... Rayo had no answers. Even with the great Robert Garcia in his corner, the great trainer, there was no adjustment they could make. Gary Russell was just on one Saturday, man. Wow. He jumped on Rayo right from round one and kept the pressure on throughout. It was just a masterful performance by Gary, and congratulations. He's a champion now. I forgot which one it was. WBA? I think it's WBA, right? Yeah. Yeah, Pitbull Rolly had WBA. Pitbull took it from Rolly. Rayo took it from Pitbull, and Gary Antoine took it from Rayo. So yeah, it was the WBA. But let's talk about this judging criteria. Then 2:30-ish, we're gonna get into the best boxers of all time, pound for pound. But first, a little boxing lesson today is about judging. Because I've been in some of these tests, a lot of people don't know the judging criteria, man. They really don't. Okay, Thomas Hill says, yeah, it was the braid that hit him in his eye. The punch that grazed him was near his other eye, but the knee was originally counted and he didn't continue. Then there was no point taken or a DQ. Yeah, because, your seconds, the only assistance the seconds can give during the round is verbal. They can holler out verbal assistance and instructions, but they're not supposed to be able to physically touch you during that round, not unless the referee instructs them to. Like they might drop the mouthpiece or to wipe the mouthpiece off, or the doctor might tell the corner wipe some blood out their eye or something. But other than that, without the referee's instructions, they're not supposed to physically assist you in those 3 minutes. Yeah, that should have been a DQ, man. Only thing they can do in those 3 minutes is verbal instructions. So yeah, a lot went on in that fight, but we're gonna chop it up today later on. But yeah, let's get into this judging criteria. So then we're gonna get on into the show. But yeah, now, how is boxing scored? Points, rules, scores, and deductions used by judges and referees. Now, the sport of professional boxing has always appealed based on the promise of spectacular, dramatic, and brutal knockouts. Oh yeah, let me get my picture up here because we're talking about judging, and in this fight they made their decision, and the winner is getting his hand raised. There it is. See? The judges have made their decision on that one. Okay, but then when a fighter can land a finishing shot or combo on their opponent to the point that they cannot continue, the fight comes to an immediate stop, regardless of how many rounds it was supposed to last. Okay, yeah, if it was 12, but and they finished the shot in round 5, then it's round 5 is over. However, if no knockout occurs and the bell sounds for the final time, how exactly do we decide a winner? Okay, now scoring in boxing is more complex than, say, football, where whoever scores the most points wins. As a result, boxing draws a much higher volume of controversy and debate. Just look at this past weekend, talking about controversy and debate. My point exactly. Now, if you're looking to figure out how it works or want to clear up a particular part of the process, you have come to the right place today. Okay? Now, who scores a fight, boxing match? Judges or referee? Now, in most fights, 3 judges are seated at ringside to watch the fight up close. Those judges are approved by the same body that licenses the fight, like the sanctioning body. And when possible, the judges are usually from a neutral location compared to the fighters. Like, for example, if an American fighter is facing a French fighter, we prefer judges from Canada, Great Britain, or Mexico may be preferred, right? Similarly, if a small British promoter has 2 English fighters face off, and one is from Hull while the other is from London, perhaps judges from Manchester, Southampton, Cardiff, etc., somewhere other than where the 2 fighters are from. Okay? Crush the legend. Salute Crush the legend. Great job this morning, too. Crush the legend gave us a history lesson this morning, talked about the Big Bear Sonny Liston. We can never have too many people talking history because, it's always good, anything you love, like we love the sport of boxing, to know the history or the origins of it, man, So we need more people talking history. A great job, Crush. Did his homework, too, because he had his facts and everything straight, man. I really enjoyed it this morning. And yeah, Crush, we can do something on history together. We got to exchange numbers or something online, but we'll get it together. Yeah, I look forward to we do something on history together in the future. But yeah, Appreciate you this morning, Crush. Great job. Really enjoyed that show. We need more people talking history, right? Well, salute, Crush. 6 o'clock a.m. Monday through Friday. Okay. Yeah. Now, 3-judge system is mandatory for championship fights. However, if a newly turned professional is making their debut in a 4-round fight, such fights are often judged by one person and one person alone. And that will be the fight's appointed referee. Yeah, I've seen fights as recent as last year in other countries being judged by the referee. Now, the United States stopped that because the United States around the 60s said, they're not going to have a referee judging anymore. They want him to just concentrate on officiating the fight. Yeah, and the way these referees be messing up nowadays, they don't need to be judging. Just concentrate on officiating the fight, man. Because just think if they judge and they're already messing up just from refereeing. So no, yeah, that was good. Taking the judging from the referees. But some countries still do it, but not here in the United States. Now, how is the fight scored? Let's get into that. How is the fight scored? Now, the modern boxing scoring system is known as the 10-point must system. Here is a basic overview of how the 10-point must system works. Now, judges score each round individually on a 10-point scale. Now, most rounds are scored 10-9, with the boxer who did better getting a 10 and winning the round, while the other fighter gets the 9. Now, if a boxer is knocked down or hurt enough to prompt a standing 8 count from the referee, that fighter loses a point. So if a fighter dominates the round, controlling and landing better punches throughout and also knocks their opponent down, the end result is a 10-8 round, okay? Now, you can get a 10-8 without a knockdown, but it's not that common, okay? Normally, 10-8 rounds is from knockdowns. And knockdowns do not have to be a 10-8 round now. So if a fighter gets knocked down and comes back and does a good job, then it still might be a 10-9. But the fighter that gets the knockdown will more likely get a 10. And usually a 10-8 with a knockdown. Now, if both fighters score a knockdown in the same round, the deductions cancel each other out. So it would probably still be a 10-9 in favor of the better fighter who had the better round. Okay? I gotta pay attention. I'm missing people coming in. Okay. Oh, I'm just giving you the flowers you heard, Crush. That was a great job this morning, man. Really well. I really enjoyed that. Mike Mazik in the building. What's up, Mike? We need more people talking history, man, because, a lot of people don't know the history. And like I said, anything that you love like we love this boxing, knowing the history of the origins just makes it so much better. So, yeah. But salute Mike Mazik in the building. Okay. Yeah, we talked about judging for the first half hour. Then we're going to get on into the show. Okay, yeah. Both fighters score a knockdown and cancels each other out, and then the fighter that had the better round will still get a 10-9. Now, a judge is able to award a 10-8 round without a knockdown. I was just talking about that. If the fighter scoring 10 dominated the round by a huge margin. This is usually only used if a round is total one-way traffic, or perhaps if a fighter was saved from a knockdown by the bell. Okay. Now, judges are also able to award a 10-10 round if the round in their eyes was completely even and there was nothing between the two fighters. Neither fighter distinguished themselves. We can get 10-10. Okay, now let's talk about that. Are 10-10 rounds really allowed in boxing? Yes. A judge has the right to score a round even, just as they do to score a 10-8 without a knockdown. Judges are encouraged to avoid 10-10 rounds as much as possible and to only use these scores if they truly feel it's the correct appraisal of that round. This urging is to ensure they are not overused. The 10-10 round in particular can become too easy a fallback option for judges, where, they don't want to give each one of the other fighters the round is close, just make it 10-10. So that's, they're discouraged from doing that, just use it as a fallback option. Now, points deducted for breaking the rules. In addition to the above, the referee can instruct all three judges to deduct the point from a fighter in any given round. They will do so if a fighter has done something to break the rules, such as an intentional foul, like a low blow, headbutt, or Mike Tyson favorite, biting, biting an opponent's ear. Mike Tyson or Edgar Berlanga favorite, bite the old ear, right? T. Hill says, then there should have been a host of 10-10 rounds in this past week's fight earlier on. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But they try to discourage him from them 10-10 rounds because it can become a fallback option where you can't figure out who won. Just make it 10-10. So no, they try to make them don't do that too often. It's truly got to be 10-10. You know what I mean? Now, a referee can also decide that a fighter has committed accidental fouls far too often than is acceptable and deduct the point for the repeated offenses. Now, what do the judges look for? What exactly are they looking for? Here are the following areas in which boxing judges are encouraged to determine who won or lost the round. Okay, now this is important. This is very important. This is a big one here. Effective aggression. Now, I think a lot of judges just give points for aggression, but it's got to be effective aggression, right? What is effective aggression? Now, being aggressive gives the impression of dominance, but unless the boxer is landing shots and not constantly getting countered, it is not really effective. Judges are supposed to look for effective aggression, where the aggressor consistently lands punches and avoids those from his opponent. Now, if you're aggressive and landing punches, but you keep continually getting countered, that's not effective aggression. You got to be landing your punches and dodging your opponent's punches for it to be effective. But I see a lot of judges get points just for aggression these days. Like the perfect example is O'Shaquie Foster and Rawson Conceição. Conceição had to get a lot of points just for being aggressive, although it wasn't effective. That's the only way I could see him winning that fight, right? He was the aggressor, but it was not effective because he wasn't even landing doing his aggression. So it's got to be effective aggression. Now, the next one is ring generalship. Ring generalship, another big one. The fighter who controls the action and enforces their will and style. Perfect example of that is the Sugar Ray Leonard Roberto Duran first fight. Now, Sugar Ray chose to fight Duran's style, but Duran got points because the fight was fought in his style. The judges didn't take it like Sugar Ray chose to fight his style. They took it like Duran was forcing his style on Sugar Ray. So he definitely got points from that, okay? They were two different styles, and the entire fight was fought in Duran's style. So that's ring generalship in Duran's favor. Mm-hmm. Another one is defense. How well is a boxer slipping, parrying, and blocking punches? Good defense is important. Hard and clean punches. Now, to the untrained eye, it can appear as if a boxer is landing a lot of shots, when in fact, most are being blocked or aren't landing flush. Perfect example of that, Floyd Mayweather Jr., Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar was throwing all those punches when Floyd was on the ropes, but he was either missing or Floyd was ducking them. But one judge gave the fight to Oscar, so he was fooled by that. This one judge did not judge that fight correctly because Oscar was not landing hard and clean punches. He was doing a lot of missing. So that one judge gave him the fight messed up, right? Got to be landing flush. Can't be being blocked or being ducked. Now, a judge needs to look for hard shots that land clean. Now, let's look at the types of boxing results we can have. Now, if nobody has won by knockout after the scheduled number of rounds, the judges' round-by-round scorecards throughout the fight will determine the winner. With each round being worth a maximum of 10 points, that means a fighter can score as high as 120 in a 12-round fight, 100 in a 10-round fight, and so on. Used to be 15, they could go up as much as 145. in the old days when they had 15 rounds. Now, the 3 judges will each have an overall winner or perhaps have scored the fight dead even. Here are the various results that can lead to, okay? We got the unanimous decision. All 3 judges had the same fighter head on their scorecards. Unanimous decision. Same fighter got the nod from all 3 judges. We got the split decision. 2 judges have boxer A winning, while 1 judge has boxer B ahead. That means boxer A wins. Split decision, because you got to get a majority. You got to get at least 2 of the judges. So boxer A wins by split decision. We got the majority decision. Majority decision is when 2 judges had fighter A ahead, while the 3rd judge scored the fight a draw. Now, boxer A did not get a unanimous decision, but he got the majority because he got 2 judges, so he gets a majority decision. Then we got the draws, okay? We got the draws. Now, if 1 judge has boxer A ahead, 1 judge has boxer B ahead, and the 3rd judge has scored it as a draw, the overall result is a draw because nobody got the majority. Also known, that's a split draw. Of course, if all 3 judges had it dead even, that is a unanimous draw. And we also had a majority draw, where 2 of the 3 judges had to fight a draw, and the 3rd judge gives it to boxer A, the draw got the majority, right? So it's a majority draw. So that was a little brief discussion on judging, right? Little refresher course. Did an entire show one time, but yeah, that's the basic, judging criteria, right? So now we're going to talk about the best boxers all time, pound for pound, okay? We appreciate everybody that's in the building so far coming through today. Hope you enjoyed the show. The regular suspects in the building. Yeah, we gotta get some link time. I haven't got T Hill's take on this weekend yet. He wasn't here yesterday. We had Jarrell and Defiant Arnie had a good 3 of the 4 kings of the panel. The 4 kings of the panel is T Hill, Defiant Arnie, Ant McQueen, and Jarrell Hattie. I'm like Benitez. I was the left out king. I was the 5th king of the panel, but there's only 4 kings in the deck. So, but Benitez got left out of the 4 kings, Hagler, Duran, Leonard, and Hearns. That's how they did me on the panel. I was the 5th king. So I got left out. But it's all good. Okay. Yeah, let's get ready to get into it. Now, what in the world is going on? Excuse me for a minute. The people know between 2 and 4 o'clock do not bother me. I'm busy. Give me like 1 minute. Okay, I'll be right back in 1 minute, one momento. Might be less than that. Go to 160 and count backwards from 60, and I will return. I'm on the way back. On the way back. I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Wait a minute, man. Love you, honey. Okay, let's continue the show. I'm sorry. I'm back for good this time. Okay, what happened to the damn display, man? Gee, Christmas, what is going on here? I'm back though. What is the screen doing blank like that? Okay, the best boxes of all time. I got 25 of them. Okay, nobody left. I appreciate it. And we're gonna count them down from 25 down to 1. Got some good pictures today too. The 25 greatest pound for pound boxers of all time. Now, without many regulations and its dynamics changing from era to era, boxing is arguably the most difficult sport in which to measure greatness. But here goes. Here are the greatest pound-to-pound fighters in the 100-plus year history of the sweet science. Now, it's going to be some omissions, right? But a lot of those old school boxers make the list, and we're better than some of these modern guys. No current fighters, okay? All former, no current fighters on the list. I mean, if Cash Sport's still around 20 years from now, then the Canelos, the Tanks, the Bud Crawfords, the Boots, I'll be talking about them. But these are the former fighters. Coming in at number 25, it's Sandy Sadler. Sandy Sadler. Okay. Sandy Sadler. 145 wins, 16 losses, 2 draws, and 104 knockouts. He's in the 100 knockout club. 104 knockouts. Now, Sadler was best known for his 4-fight series with defensive magician Willie Pep. Just a little brief summary, that's all. I ain't gonna bore y'all. Now, Sadler was the only fighter to get the better of the master featherweight. When he was near his best, he knocked Pep out 3 times. The first to annex the longtime 126-pound Kingpin's belt in 1948, and the third time began his run atop the division that lasted for most of the 1950s. A rangy puncher who also won a junior lightweight strap, Sadler held his featherweight crown until retiring in 1957. Retired champion, Sandy Sadler. Okay. Coming in at number 24, The Rock, Rocky Marciano. I love that picture. That's he delivering Susie Q to Jersey Joe Walcott. That punch ended the fight. Jersey Joe Walcott was on the mat for 5 minutes. Like a right hook, caught him right on the chin. And looked like Jersey Joe is already asleep. The Rock. Of course, The Rock, Mr. 49-0, right? 43 knockouts, 87.7% knockout ratio for The Rock. Now, Marciano did not have a particularly long run in the upper reaches of his sport, first appearing in Ring Magazine's top 10 heavyweight rankings in 1951, and retiring after his 49th win in 1955. So imagine that, 49 fights in like 4 years. It's like 10, almost 11 a year, right? Almost, 4, 1. About 12 fights a year. 4 times 12 is 48. Right, yeah, that's about 12 fights a year. However, the Brockton blockbuster finished his career unbeaten and defeated greats like Ezra Charles, Jersey Joe Walcott, and Archie Moore during his title reign. Those fights were on the downhill side by that point in their careers, but Marciano, a tough competitor and dangerous puncher, showcased his credentials in 3 straight Fight of the Year battles, in 3 straight fights of the year. The Rock, Rocky Marciano. Coming in at number 23, Big George Foreman. Big George Foreman, right? And Big George finished his career with a record of 76 wins, 5 losses, 68 by way of knockout. In 76 fights, only 8 people went the distance with him. Incredible. Knockout ratio of 89.4% for Big G. 89.4%. Okay? George Foreman. Now, one of the most intimidating presences in sports history. Foreman ran roughshod through the heavyweight division, becoming champion less than 4 years into his career. He bulldozed Joe Frazier and Ken Norton, creating an invincible aura going into Zaire. But Muhammad Ali's rope-a-dope legend may be a bit exaggerated as he was winning pre-knockout, but that night ruined Foreman's prime. However, Big George's 1990 return, giving Evander Holyfield some trouble and flooring Michael Moorer to become the oldest heavyweight champion at age 45. Still is. Coupled with his early 70s dominance, undoubtedly qualified Big George as one of the greats. And shows he belongs on this list. Big George Foreman. Coming in at number 22, JCC, Julio Cesar Chavez. Okay, this man finished his career with a record of 107 wins against 6 losses, 2 draws, 85 by way of knockout. That's 79.4% knockout ratio for JCC. Not bad, not bad at all. Coming in at number 22 on best of all time too. Now the revered Mexican with a penchant for unrelenting body attacks resided atop pound for pound list for years, following Mike Tyson's Tokyo trip. Know what happened there, Buster Douglas. Chavez began his career 88-0, when his first 88 fights out the gate. This included wins over Edwin Rosario, Hector Camacho, and Meldrick Taylor. The controversial Taylor ending with Richard Steele stopping the fight. Wait a minute, I done hit my man. Told you about my hands always hitting something. Bear with me for a minute. Okay, I'm gonna put this hand in my pocket, like I always supposed to do. Where were we? Julio Cesar Chavez. Oh my goodness. Give me a minute. There we go. Yeah. Julio Cesar Chavez is where we were. Right. Talking about the controversial Taylor ending with Richard Steele stopping the fight with 2 seconds remaining as Taylor led on 2 scorecards. Marred a classic Chavez. That marred a classic fight. Now Chavez's winning streak ended with a gift draw against Pernell Whitaker in 1993. But he ruled the junior lightweight, and junior welterweight divisions for years prior to that draw. Yeah, that should have been his first loss because Pernell clearly beat him. But they was trying to keep Julio undefeated at that time. Follow the money, They was getting paid off that. Oh, he was like, what, 80 something? I don't know why this display keeps disappearing like that. Number 21 is Jack Dempsey. Here's Jack Dempsey. And Jack Dempsey finished his career with a 53 wins, 6 losses, 8 draws, 43 knockouts for the Manasseh Mauler. Now, one of the most popular athletes during the early 20th century, Dempsey began a voyage to superstardom with a brutal knockout of 240-pound heavyweight champion Jess Willett in 1919. And Jack was giving up like 6 inches and almost 50 pounds in weight, and he just dominated Willett. And he beat him so bad, they accused Jack of having something in his hand wraps. That's how bad he messed his face up, okay? In flooring Willett 7 times. Not just 7, but guess what? 7 times in the first round. Dempsey shattered the champ's jaw. Although Dempsey did not relinquish his belt until 1926, He took 3 years off after his 2-round slugfest with Louis Firpo. Now, Gene Tunney outboxed the more aggressive Dempsey to end his run, and then won an famous long count rematch with an Illinois rule allowing Tunney extra time to recover from a knockdown. But Dempsey remains an all-time great. The fight was in Illinois with some kind of special rule that allowed him extra time. Okay. And next is Gene Tunney. Okay. Next is Gene Tunney. There's Gene Tunney. Okay, Gene Tunney is next. Gene Tunney finished his career 65 wins, just 1 loss, 1 draw, 48 knockouts. And the man that gave him that 1 loss is on this list, the great Harry Graham. He's in the top 10. Gene Tunney is number 20. Okay? Now, Tunney's career was not as celebrated as Dempsey's, but he punctuated it with 2 wins over his top peer, beat Dempsey twice. Tunney resides as one of boxing's top light heavyweights and heavyweights. He engaged in a 5-fight series with middleweight mauler Harry Graham and took the 175-pound American belt from battling Levinsky before moving up to boxing's glamour division, heavyweight. A methodical boxer, Tunney subdued Dempsey to take his title by unanimous decision and retired not long after the controversial rematch, long count fight. Also a Tunney unanimous decision. Both Dempsey fights drew more than 100,000 fans back in the 20s. And the long count fight was just, that was the first fight where they started, you had to go to the neutral corner. Before that, you could stand right there by the referee as he counted. And so they called it the long count because Dempsey wouldn't go to the neutral corner. Some people say he was trying to throw the fight, give Tunney extra time, but he probably wasn't used to it because it was the first fight where they ever used the neutral corner. So Dempsey it called the long count because Dempsey got extra time because the referee was trying to get, Tunney got extra time on the mat because the referee was trying to get Dempsey to go to the neutral corner, but he continued to stand right there hovering over Tunney because that was the first fight where they used the neutral corner. He probably wasn't used to it, but that's why it's called the long count fight. Okay. Coming in at number 19, the great Barney Ross. Told you a lot of fighters from back in the day. That's why you won't see Roy Jones and, B-Hop. None of those guys made the cut because I think these guys back in them days was just better, man. Barney Ross. These guys fought, but just Harry Graham, we haven't got to him yet, but this guy fought 100 times in 3 years, 45 in 1 year, 1919, and won all 45 of them. That's more than a lot of these fighters fight in their entire careers nowadays, okay? So, yeah. But Barney Ross, won 72 fights, lost 4, he had 3 draws, and he had 22 knockouts. Barney was like a technical sweet science type of guy, wasn't a power guy. Now, placed in an era featuring high-class opposition, Ross more than held his own. A Ray Arcel pupil, 40 years before Roberto Duran, Ross was the 3rd fighter to win titles in 3 weight classes, lightweight, junior welterweight, and welterweight, and defeated top-tier peers Tony Canzonieri and Jimmy McLaurin, taking the first 2 titles from Canzonieri in 1933 and stepping up to dethrone McLaurin at 147 a year later. Ross went 4-1 against these legends. He stood as the welterweight champion for 4 years, retiring after a loss to the great Henry Armstrong. And we're going to get to Henry. We ain't nowhere near the top 10. Henry is top 5. Okay, we're going to get to him. Okay. It must be a great list if Joe Gans is way down at number 18. Joe Gans, the great Joe Gans, number 18. Now, I don't know if his record is correct because, his record keeping was kind of sketchy. He fought like 1902, around in that era, so 1900. So, but I have him for 147 wins, 10 losses, 16 draws, and 101 knockouts. He's a member of the 100 Knockout Club, 101 knockouts. But I don't know if that record is correct because record keeping was kind of, off back in them times. But Joe Gans, my homeboy too, from Baltimore, Maryland. Now, boxing trailblazer, Gans was the first Black American to win a world title. Okay? He wasn't the first Black person, that was George Dixon. But George Dixon was Canadian. Gans was the first Black American, okay, to win a world championship. Now, he captured the lightweight championship in 1902 and held it for an unspecified time. Yeah, particulars for 1900s boxers are often elusive. Like I was saying, the record's kind of sketchy. Now, over the next 6 years, he held it over the next 6 years for an unspecified time. Now, the tactician's defining fight, though, was for the 135-pound strap. Gans defeated fellow Hall of Famer Battling Nelson in a 42-round slugfest, right? And Gans, they fought 42 rounds. Joe Gans broke his arm in the 34th round and fought the last 8 rounds with a broken arm. So imagine that. You already fought 34 rounds. Then you fight the last 8 with a broken arm. Tough guys, okay? Well, a lot of them on this list, and a lot of these modern fighters are not on it, okay? You think anybody nowadays is going to fight 8 rounds with a broken arm? I don't think so. Now, Gans defeated fellow via Batley Nelson. That was a 42-round fight, right? For the last 8 with a broken arm. Now, although he lost twice to the younger Nelson, following that grueling encounter, the boxing forefather is regarded as a legendary lightweight. He also won a welterweight belt 8 months prior to the Nelson War. Okay. Let me drop that a little bit. Okay. It's too loud for me. I know it's too loud for y'all. Yes or not? I got to do like Bill Knuckles did. Remember Bill Knuckles? Bill Knuckles told me, turn that music down, Cass. I can't even hear myself think one time. Yeah. Okay. Where are we? Number 17, right? Coming in at number 17 is Floyd Mayweather. Yeah. Floyd is down at 17. Lucky you're on here. Number 17, Floyd Mayweather Jr. And of course, Mr. 50-0. And Floyd had, how many knockouts did Floyd have? 27? Yeah, 27. 50-0, 27 knockouts. Yeah. Okay, Floyd Mayweather. One of the most skilled craftsmen in modern boxing history. Mayweather would rank higher were he not fixated on that unbeaten record. Okay? Floyd's 2001 destruction of top 130-pound foe, Diego Corrales, preceded 2 wins over a prime Jose Luis Castillo, okay? But Mayweather opted for mismatches in his late 20s. His money years almost exclusively involved meetings with rivals at ideal times. Now, the 5-division champ may have been good enough to beat his peers at their best. Probably would have beat him at their best, but boxing's financial kingpin repeatedly refusing to test himself docks him historically. Okay, and he probably could have beat all of them in their prime, but Floyd chose to face him at ideal times. He just did, okay? Coming in at number 16, Sweet Pea. Sweet Pea. This is the 25 of the top fighters of all time. Sweet Pea coming in at number 15. And Sweet Pea was, man, I'm going to have to turn that light on over there. I can't see. Yeah, let me turn it on. This is only take 5 seconds. I'm only going over here to the other side. There we go. Yeah, I turned the light on over there. I can see my paperwork better. I was using the laptop light. Now, Sweet Pea was 40 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw. And Sweepy had 17 knockouts during his career. Okay, Pernell Whitaker, there he is. Number 2 defensive fighter, top defensive fighter of all time. I got Willie Pep, number 1. Nearly untouchable at his best. Sweet Pea is arguably the greatest defensive fighter ever. Make a good argument for it. The Southpaw reigned at lightweight and welterweight, surging to the top of the pound-for-pound list after a disputed draw against Julio Cesar Chavez, who had avoided him before that. And you see why. Because Sweet Pea definitely got the better of him. Now, Whitaker held belts in 4 divisions, but was robbed on multiple occasions. Even his 1997 Oscar De La Hoya loss was debatable. Now, 3 of Whitaker's 4 defeats came in his final 4 fights after drug use and age diminished him. Perhaps a bit forgotten after nearly 20 years away, the Olympic gold medalist was boxing's best for several years. He was on top of the pound for pound for a few years. Sweet Pea was. Okay, coming in at number 15, the Mongoose / Old Mongoose, Archie Moore. This man fought so long. His nickname was the Mongoose. He fought almost 30 years. They started calling him the Old Mongoose. He said, Archie, you can't be the Mongoose anymore. You know, you got to be the Old Mongoose now. Okay, what the lights looking like? They're looking okay. Okay, the Mongoose. Now the Mongoose had a record of 186 wins, 23 losses, 10 draws, 132 knockouts. That's number 2 all time, 132 knockouts. Billy, I forgot his name. Billy something has 136. But Archie is number 2 all time, 132 knockouts. That's a lot of knockouts. Those records will never be broken because nobody will even fight that many times anymore, right? So those records are safe. Anybody in the 100 knockout club. But Archie Moore, beginning his career at middleweight, reigning at light heavyweight, and becoming a top caliber heavyweight, the Old Mongoose authored one of boxing's most unique careers. Ranked as a top 10 fighter in his division from 1940 to 1961. Top 10 fighter for 21 years. Okay? Moore is boxing's all-time, was second place. Number 2 knockout, 132. Okay? He did not receive a title shot until he was 39 years old. Now, Archie came into the professional game at 23. And didn't receive a title shot for 16 years until he was 39. But when he won it, he kept it for 10 years. Because Archie said, I'm not losing this title because I might not never get another shot. And that's something. The man was in the top 10 for 21 years, but he didn't get a title shot for 16 years. Imagine that, coming into the game at 23 and not get a title shot till 39. But when he got it, he held on to it for 10 years. Okay? Now, after beating Joey Maxim, Moore topped the 175-pound class for 9 years. 9, 10, what's the difference? His heavyweight moonlighting gig, it was parts of 10 years, okay? Not 10 complete, but parts of 10 years. His heavyweight moonlighting gig included fights against Rocky Marciano, who did knock The Rock down, but The Rock stopped him eventually. He fought Floyd Patterson and Muhammad Ali. Trained Ali for a little while too. Moore held a belt at 48 years old, man. It took until Bernard Hopkins for that record to fall. Yeah, B-Hop beat it at 49. Big Supreme in the building. What's up, Big Supreme? We got 25 of the top fighters of all time today, Big Supreme. Salute, good to see you, Big Supreme. Yeah, the old Mongoose. Yep, the Mongoose / Old Mongoose. The man fought so long that he had to start calling him the Old Mongoose. 28 years, man. 28 years. And it was sad because he fought 16 years before he got his title shot. But like I said, when he got it, he made the most of it. He won it and kept it for 10 years. Okay? Because Archie said, if I lose it, I might not never get another shot, right? Yeah, he was 48 when he won his last title, and that held until B-Hop, 2013, 14. when B-Hop won it at 49. Yeah. But Archie is still number 2. And Archie fought up into his 50s. Yeah. Ezra Charles. But salute Big Supreme. Big Supreme says The Rock is overrated. Yeah, The Rock was what was he? We passed him already. He was number he was number 24. Okay. But at number 14, we got Ezra Charles. Ezra Charles. There's Ezra on the right. That's Jersey Joe. Look like Jersey Joe's running or something. Ezra's right behind him. Now, Ezra won 95 fights. He lost 25. He had 1 draw, and he had 52 knockouts during his career. Ezra did, yeah. We're going to get some link time at like 2:30. Because we're going to talk about like top 10 women of the 21st century, too, after this. Okay, number 14 is Ezra Charles. Okay? Yeah. Now, although Moore lasted longer, Charles, 5 years, Moore's junior, beat him in each of their 3 1940s fights at light heavyweight. He fought Archie 3 times at light heavyweight. Now, Charles beat 4 175-pound champions, but never fought for the title at 175. Yeah. Never fought for the 175 belt. He fought Archie before. He fought Archie 3 times, but he fought all 3 was before Archie won the belt because it took Archie 16 years to get it, remember? Now, while Charles was one of the greatest light heavyweights ever, he did well as a small heavyweight too, right? He had 2 wins over Jersey Joe Walcott. They had 4 fights altogether. That's him and Jersey Joe right there on the screen. Now, Charles won the heavyweight title, and in 1950, he beat an older Joe Louis. Now, Charles held the belt for 3 years. His final acts on the sport's top tier were 2 losses to Rocky Marciano in 1954, one doubling as the fight of the year. He was the only man to go the distance with Rocky in a championship fight. Rocky stopped him the second time. Yep. Okay. Then we got at number 13, we got the Pac-Man, Manny Pacquiao. Here's Manny. And of course, Manny was 62 wins, 8 losses, 2 draws, 39 knockouts. Was a Pac-Man. Okay. At 40 years old, Pacquiao was still an upper echelon welterweight. He won the linear flyweight title in 1998. Only one man has ever won titles in more than 6 weight divisions, and that's Pacquiao, and is an 8 division champion. He faced Hall of Famer lower weight contemporaries Marco Antonio Barrera, Juan Manuel Marquez, Eric Morales, and beat them a combined 6 times, right? Now, though Floyd Mayweather Jr. Waited out his higher mileage rival and beat him, the Filipino's career includes more milestones and more wins over stars in their prime. Pacquiao's all-action apex, longevity, and unparalleled climb have left a historic mark on the sport of boxing. Manny Pacquiao. Okay, we're getting close to the top 10 now. At number 12 is Sam Langford. Sam Langford. Okay, big tweets. Marciano beat Walcott, Moore, and Joe Louis when they were 40 years old. That's true. Okay. Yeah. They were all older, up in their years when he faced all of them. Joe Louis had no business still in the ring at that point, you know. But he said he came back for financial reasons. The IRS was on him and all of that. Okay. Sam Langford is next. And Sam Langford won 107. Well, now this is questionable too because the area he fought in record's kind of sketchy, but I got 178 wins, 30 losses, 38 draws, 126 knockouts. I think he's like almost like number 3 on the knockout list. But 38 draws, a lot of them was wins, but you know, back in them days, you know, black fighters had it rough, and a lot of those draws, instead of giving him wins against white fighters, they would just call them draws. Because you know, 38 draws, you know, that's incredible. A lot of those were wins, but you know, instead of giving him the win, they would just call it a draw. Yeah, there was this, you know, that's just the period that you know we were in. Well, I wasn't in it, but that's just the period how it was at that time, right? Okay, Sam Langford. I ain't that old. I wasn't back then on 1902. Come on, y'all. Now, Sam Langford is the only non-champion on this list. He suffered because of racial discrimination in the early 20th century. He never received a chance to fight for a title, but he held the colored title. But like the regular title, he never got a chance to fight for that. Never received a chance to fight for the title, but his career includes astonishing versatility. He was 5'7", Canadian. Langford fought heavyweight icon Jack Johnson and lightweight kingpin Joe Gans. He beat Joe Gans, and he beat future middleweight champion Tiger Flowers at 39 years old, and had a draw against future welterweight champion Barbados Joe Walcott, right? Not Jersey Joe, Barbados Joe. The much larger Johnson defeated Langford by decision in 1906, but it was a tough fight, and he refused a rematch once he became champion. This is one of American sports' ultimate what-if athletes, Sam Langford. And speaking of Jack Johnson, he's next. There's Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson. Okay. And Jack Johnson finished his career. He had 53 wins, 11 losses, 8 draws, 33 knockouts for Jack Johnson. 33 knockouts. So he had more knockouts than that, but no. 33 knockouts. Okay. He was the first black man to win the heavyweight championship. Johnson became one of the country's most important athletes. Denied a chance at the belt for years, Johnson easily dispatched champion Tommy Burns when he got the shot. He then beat former champions Bob Fitzsimmons and Jim Jeffries. The latter having refused the Johnson fight when he was champion in the 1900s, but Johnson gave him a shot. Just to show him he could have took their belt from him when he had it. So when Johnson got it, he gave him a shot and beat him. Johnson handed Jeffries his only professional loss, but the brass belt holder then spent years out of the United States in exile. The 6-foot champ at 37 years old lost his belt 7 years after winning it, with a 6'6" Jess Willard knocking him out in the 26th round of the 1915 fight. That was in Cuba. A lot of people said Jack Johnson threw that fight. Okay. Next is Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Okay. Finished his career 62 wins, just 3 losses, 2 draws, 52 knockouts. That's 83.8% knockout rate for the Marvelous one. Marvelous. In a decade featuring tough guy action heroes, Hagler was the boxing equivalent. He was the real thing, right? Avoided for years. The working class fighter saw a bogus draw deny him the middleweight crown. That was against Vito Antuofermo. Shortly after his 1979 draw against Vito Antuofermo, Hagler began a 7-year title reign. He beat the English guy, Alan Mitchell, went over there. That was crazy. They threw chairs and bottles and what they threw in that ring. They was pissed off. But anyway, he began a 7-year title reign after that win. The bruising southpaw had better luck fighting 1980s opponents, laying waste to natural middleweights and beating legends Roberto Duran and Thomas Hearns, a defining boxing sequence. Now, while Hagler's hard luck ways returned when Sugar Ray Leonard received a long debated decision, still debated to this day, leading to Hagler's retirement. His run stacks up well historically. Yeah, Hagler, Roberto Duran was the only one to go the distance with him in that 80 to 87 run too. He was knocking out everybody. Yeah. Next is Sugar Ray Leonard. We're in the top 10. The Hagler was 10. Sugar Ray Leonard is number 9. Okay. And Sugar Ray Leonard was finished his career at 36 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 25 knockouts. And Sugar Ray suffered his only knockout of his career in his last fight when he came out of retirement to fight Hector Camacho and got knocked out. Had no business in there. He was commentating the fight when Hector Camacho fought Roberto Duran. And like Mikey Garcia and Robert Garcia, when they get ready to fight Earl Spence, Sugar Ray thought he saw something, but he didn't see what he thought he saw and went there and got knocked out by Camacho. It was an old Sugar Ray, but hey, Box Rec still got that one knockout on his record. And don't say old Sugar Ray, just say he got knocked out. Okay, but yeah, they all stay. A lot of them stay around too long. But Hagler didn't. After he lost to Sugar Ray, Hagler got out and never came back. Nope. Now, sublimely skilled Leonard parlayed his Olympic gold medal into becoming the post-Muhammad Ali face of boxing. Leonard's welterweight wins over Wilfred Benitez, Roberto Duran, after a close loss to Duran, and Thomas the Hitman Hearns gave him career-defining moments before he turned 26 years old, right? But Leonard's prime ended early. Had the eye injury not intervened, we are likely talking about a top 5 all-time fighter. Leonard may not have deserved the decision over Marvin Hagler, but even being competitive against a heavily favored middleweight after essentially a 5-year layoff showed the vast toolbox the charismatic star possessed. He had almost a 5-year layoff before the Hagler fight, didn't take a tune-up or anything. So yeah, just being competitive in that fight would have been big, you know? Yeah. Everybody was saying take a tune-up, Sugar Ray, but he went straight in there with Hagler. I thought Hagler won. That fight will always be debated. But that's what you call an iconic fight, man. 40 years later, we still talking about it. That's iconic. That's the textbook definition of iconic. We're down to number 8. The great Benny Leonard. We go back, oh Lord, I done messed my damn display up. Gun in my mouth. I got it out on, that hand come up, it's out of order, man. I gotta find Benny Leonard now. Now I'm to the women. Damn. Bear with me, y'all. The great Benny Leonard. That's not Benny. That's Willie Pep. There's Benny Leonard right there. I don't know what they look like. Okay. There's Benny Leonard. Now he finished his career, maybe to get back in order like he did the other week. 190 wins, 6 losses, 1 draw, 71 knockouts. Wow, 197 fights. The man only lost 6 times. Okay? Everybody hitting the appreciation button. Yeah, okay. The great Benny Leonard. Then we got to talk about 10 of the top women of the 21st century. This century we're in right now, after this. Okay, Benny Leonard, though. Now, in an era when fighters were far more active than they are today, Benny Leonard's numbers stand out even for that era. The longest reigning lightweight champion from 1917 to 1925, 8 years. Leonard ended his career with, I already did that, right? 90 wins, 6 losses, 1 draw, 71 knockouts, okay? Now, 3 losses came before his 21st birthday. A 4th occurred at the hands of Hall of Famer Tommy McLaurin after Leonard emerged from retirement. And a 5th came because of a disqualification in a welterweight title fight he was likely winning. So 5 of his 6 losses, wow, could have very easily been wins. Or when he was young, one was a disqualification and one when he came back out of retirement. There's really only one legitimate loss for this man. Okay. And Benny Leonard had 97 total fights. Okay, now he was a slick 5'5" puncher, was peerless. Benny Leonard. Next is the Brown Bomber at number 7 in the top 10 now. The Brown Bomber, Joe Louis. Joe Louis finished his career 66 wins, 3 losses, 52 by way of knockout. Mike Ram, what's up, Mike? In the building. 25 of the best boxers of all time, Mike, today. And we are down to number 7, Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber. Salute Mike Grimm in the building. Okay. Let's talk about the Brown Bomber briefly. Joe Louis. There he is. The longest reigning heavyweight champion. Louis ruled boxing when it stood atop the American sports hierarchy. Now, Vladimir Klitschko was champion longer than Louis, but Vladimir's was broken up into 2 reigns. Joe Louis's was consecutive, okay? Consecutive 12 years straight. Vladimir had more time as champion, but it was broken up into 2 different reigns, so that's why they recognized Joe Louis because his was consecutive. Now, the vicious puncher won the belt in 1937 and defended it a record 25 times, beating the likes of Billy Conn and Jersey Joe Walcott. He also knocked out the 5 previous heavyweight champions that held the belt before him, including Max Baer and Max Schmeling. After Schmeling beat Louis in 1936, the Brown Bomber floored the German 2 years later in what was probably the most anticipated fight in boxing history. And get this, he knocked Schmeling out in the first round, 2 minutes into the first round. For a 2-minute fight, he beat Max Schmeling so bad in those 2 minutes. Max Schmeling stayed in the hospital for 2 months from a 2-minute beating. So he did a month per minute in the hospital. Did y'all hear me? He spent 2 months in the hospital from a 2-minute fight. That's how bad Joe Louis beat him in them 2 minutes, man. Broke ribs, eye sockets, and jaws, and I don't know what else he broke. But the man spent 2 months in the hospital from just a 2-minute fight. Incredible. That's a month per minute worth of beating. That was crazy when I first read that, man. I said, hey, he stayed in the hospital 2 months. The fight only lasted 2 minutes. So Joe really puts, now that's a beating there. Wow. Now, late career losses to Ezzard Charles and Rocky Marciano do not detract from one of the sport's defining legacies. That's what Big Supreme was just talking about. Rocky beat Joe late, and a few others late in his career. Okay. Number 6, the Hands of Stone, Roberto Duran. Y'all knew I had to do that. Roberto finished his career with 103 wins, 16 losses, 70 knockouts at a time when nobody was fighting anywhere near Roberto for 119 times. He got one of those type of 1920s, 30s records. And he fought only 1 or 2 people that fought in 5 decades, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. The other one was Jack Johnson. Him and Roberto Duran, the only 2 fighters who fought in 5 different decades. But Roberto Duran got one of those records back from Jack Johnson's time. Nobody was fighting 119 times at the time Roberto Duran came through. 103 wins, 16 losses, 70 knockouts. The Hands of Stone, Roberto Duran. One of the most ferocious competitors in boxing history. Duran ruled the 1970s lightweight scene. Ruled. I don't think anybody else has ever ruled a division at any weight the way Roberto ruled lightweight in the 70s. Okay? Nobody. And probably never will. No division. While he finished 103-16 over a 33-year career. In the 70s, get this, he had 54 wins and 1 loss. He lost to Esteban de Jesus, but he avenged that twice. They had a trilogy. Okay, that was his only loss. A warlord at 135. Duran's signature work came at welterweight. He made Sugar Ray Leonard brawl with him in their first fight, taking Leonard's belt in an underrated classic. Underrated because of the No Moss rematch, going rather poorly for a suboptimal Duran. His 1980 triumph was one of the greatest wins in boxing history. However, setting the tone for a second act that featured junior middleweight and middleweight titles. He came back very strong from that no Mars fight, right? Won titles in 2 more divisions, fought in 3 more decades. No, 2 more, 90s and 2000s. The Hands of Stone, Roberto Duran. Coming in at number 5, the greatest defensive fighter of all times, Willie Pep. Once won a round without throwing a punch. How you do that? Win a round without throwing a punch. I guess he did it on ring generalship. Because the other guy threw punches, but he couldn't land on him. Jackie Graves. I have never seen that fight. I've tried to find it, but I can't find it. Willie Pep against Jackie Graves was the fight. I think it was the 3rd round. He supposed to won the round without throwing a punch. But Willie won, now get this, he won 229 fights, lost 11, 1 draw, 65 knockouts. That's 241 fights in his career. And 11, that's like he lost 2% of his fights. 229 wins, 11 losses, 1 draw, 65 knockouts, 241 fight career. The Will of the Wisp, Willie Pep. Now, Pernell Whitaker's top competition for boxing defense GOAT, Pep deployed a silky smooth style that bedeviled featherweights for years. En route to a 241, 229, 11 and 1 record, 15 knockouts. Pep won his first 63 fights out the gate. Already residing as the world's top-ranked featherweight, Pep took the 126-pound belt from Hall of Famer Chalky Wright in 1944 and kept it for 4 years. Unfortunately, injuries from a 1947 plane crash stopped some of Pep's wizardry, leaving him vulnerable. Yeah, he was in a plane crash in 1947. Now, the doctor told him he would never fight again. Willie said, no, I'm fighting again. The only thing I'm not going to do again is fly at night. And guess what? He not only fought again, he fought 10 more times the same year he had to play after the plane crash that same year. Okay? 10 more times that year he fought after a plane crash where he had significant injuries. Right? Tough man. Now, Sandy Sadler took Pep's belt in 1948, but Pep managed to recapture it in 1949's Fight of the Year and further his claim as one of the sport's giants, the Will o' the Wisp, Willie Pep. Okay, coming in at number 4, the great legendary Harry Grab. Oh, I went backward. Oh, no, it's out of order. That's right. Damn, now I gotta find Harry Grab. Oh, there it is. There it is. Harry Grab coming at number 4. Okay. Harry had a career record of 149 wins, 21 losses, 10 draws, and he had 99 knockouts. Wow, Mr. 100 Knockout Club by 1 knockout. Damn, Harry. Missed it by 1. Wow. Okay. Harry Grab. Regarded by many ring experts as the best middleweight ever, Grab cleaned out multiple divisions in the 1910s and 20s. He's the only man to have beaten eventual heavyweight champion Gene Tunney. Only man to beat Gene Tunney. This happened once, and per most press in attendance, their first rematch should have gone Grab's way too. They gave Tunney the second fight. A 160-pound champion with a rugged, often labeled dirty style, Grab regularly fought and beat light heavyweights and defeated heavyweights who'd beaten Jack Dempsey. Grab dispatched fellow all-time great, the toy bulldog Mickey Walker at middleweight, rounding out one of the sport's most diverse resumes. Yeah, they say if the referee was looking the other way, Grab wasn't above headbutting or hitting low or hit behind the head. Yeah, you know, hey, if you don't get caught, it ain't wrong. Right? If you don't get caught, it ain't cheap. Coming in at number 3. Now I gotta find, man, I got the thing out of order. Henry Armstrong, he shouldn't be too far away. Where are you, Henry? There he is up there. Way up there. Henry Armstrong. Homicide Hank. Coming in at number 3. And Homicide Hank finished his career. He had 149 wins, 21 losses, 10 draws. Oh, 99 knockouts. Oh, I read his record for Harry Greb. Harry Greb had 109 wins, 9 losses, 3 draws, 50 knockouts. Homicide Hank was the one that missed the 100 knockout club by 1. That was Homicide Hank. 149 wins, 21 losses, 10 draws, 99 knockouts. That was Homicide Hank. He missed the 100 knockout club by 1 knockout. Now, perhaps joined by Babe Ruth 1927, or you saying both 2008, 2009. Armstrong's 9-month run from November 1937 to August 1938 is in the discussion for greatest sports year ever. In that stretch, Homicide Hank went 27-0 with 26 knockouts and won the featherweight title. The next year, the relentless attacker captured Barney Ross's welterweight belt and won the lightweight strap. Now, boxing had 8 weight divisions in 1938. Armstrong was champion in 3 of them at one time and missed 4 by a controversial draw. They say he won that fight, but the judges called it a draw. He would have been champion in half of the weight classes at the same time. And he was champion in 3 of them, right? He held 3 titles at once. Many felt he should have won the middleweight belt in the 1940 draw. He nonetheless beat 16 champions and made a record 19 welterweight title defenses. A virtuoso talent. Y'all know who 1 and 2 is. There's 2. We're back in order for the last 3. Wow, thank you. Muhammad Ali, number 2. And of course, Ali finished 56 wins, 5 losses, 37 by way of knockout, 61 fight career. The greatest. Had the Vietnam War not occurred, Ali probably submits a historic, uninterrupted run of brilliance. No heavyweight could do what 1960s Ali did. His movement, picking all comers apart, but Ali cemented his legend after his hiatus. Dropped into the most loaded era in heavyweight history, Ali prevailed over his rivals and beat everyone there was to beat in the 1970s. Ali 2.0 never regained all of Ali 1.0 skills, but his brilliance derailed George Foreman and his will broke Smoking Joe Frazier in Manila, in probably the greatest fight in boxing history, in the Thriller in Manila. A 3-time champion, Ali will be a towering sports figure forever. Forever, okay? And number 1, pound for pound boxer of all time. I know who it is. Walker Ray Robinson. Walker Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray. Sugar Ray finished his career with 174 wins, 19 losses, 6 draws, and he's a member of the 100 Knockout Club, 109 knockouts. On top of all that talent and skills, and he's a member of the 100 Knockout Club too. Wow. I didn't know that till a couple of weeks ago. Sugar Ray Robinson. But the term pound for pound entered the mainstream vernacular largely because of Robinson, who through his unparalleled speed, power, arsenal at the welterweight and middleweight divisions in the 1940s and 50s, he beat a stacked slate of competition. Winning the 1950s middleweights is the greatest era of middleweights ever. Not debatable. 1950s. Sugar Ray, Jake LaMotta, Gene Foreman, Carmen Basilio, Randy Turpin, the legendary Dick Tiger. Did I say Gene Foreman? Yeah, 1950s. No other era can touch that for middleweight. But anyway, Sugar Ray Robinson. He beat a stacked slate of competition, winning the 160-pound title 5 times. But Carmen Basilio said, in order for you to win it 5 times, Sugar Ray, you had to lose it 4 times. Carmen was hating. Your Carmen was hating. Prior to first taking the middleweight belt by the St. Valentine's Day Massacre over Jake LaMotta, he was a demon at 147. Robinson, who lost once in his first 123 fights, okay? 123 fights, he only lost once. He was 123-1. Also nearly took Joey Maxim's light heavyweight belt, but scorching heat forced him to quit on his stool. That's the only reason he didn't get 3 divisions. He was winning on all 3 cards in round 13 with 2 rounds to go, but the heat exhaustion made him quit. It was 110 degrees. He was outside. And before he went down, they had to change referees. The referee went down because of the heat. So that stopped him from being 3 divisions. Okay. He had Joey Maxim beat. All he had to do was make it 2 more rounds. Right? He was way ahead on the cards. Maxim needed a knockout, but the heat knocked Sugar Ray out. Okay. Less of a superpower after a 2.5-year retirement, Robinson still became the Associated Press's fighter of the 20th century. Not Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson. Okay. Now we got some women. We're gonna talk about, to be fair, the top 10 women, 10 of the top women of the 21st century. Just Do Boxing is in the building. What's up, Just Do? Let me refresh the chat because I made a miss. This cat's gonna fire me from my job. Let's do it. That's why I miss Just Do Boxing. That's boxing royalty there. Just Do Boxing coming up at 4 o'clock. Bringing you that unbiased boxing talk, balanced boxing talk. Everybody gets to just do it, Just Do Boxing. Salute Just Do Boxing. Okay? Yeah, we're going to talk about some women right quick. Some of the top women of the 21st century. Okay? Let's get into that. Appreciate everybody for stopping through today. Hope you're enjoying the show. Tomorrow is going to be Boxing in the State returns. We didn't have it last week, remember, because we went to New York for the meet and greet. But tomorrow is history of boxing in Oregon. We're going to talk about the history of boxing in Oregon and some other significant events that occurred concerning boxing in Oregon and some boxers from Oregon. I'm gonna find some boxers from Oregon, right? That's tomorrow. And Friday, the profile this week is going to be the life and career of Floyd Pretty Boy / Money Mayweather. Can't believe I never did Floyd, but nope, we never did Floyd. We're gonna do him Friday, okay? So let's talk about the women right quick, okay? Come on. Bear with me, please. Ten of the top women's fighters of the 21st century. Because women's boxing has seen a resurgence since the sport was allowed to compete in the 2012 Olympics in London. That was the first Olympics they were in. Well, they had women in 1905. That was like a sample. They had men and women for the first time in 1905. What was it? 1908? 1904, excuse me, in St. Louis. But then they kept the men, and the women didn't return until 2012. What was that? 108 years later, right? But then they've been a fixture since 2012. Now, since then, fighters like Clarissa Shields and Katie Taylor have gone on to win undisputed championships in 2 divisions in the top the women's pound-for-pound list. Now, before that, women's boxing was fighting for popularity. Since the early 2000s, when Layla Ali and Christy Martin were competing in big events, to Amanda Serrano winning titles in an unprecedented 7 weight classes. Watch out, Manny. Amanda's only one behind Manny. Amanda's still active. Yeah, Amanda's won in an unprecedented 7 weight classes. Women's boxing wasn't as big as it is today. Right now, women's boxing is as big as it's ever been. Now, a big part of that is fights staged as main events in iconic venues, such as Clarissa Shields and Marie-Eve Dicaire headlining the first all-women pay-per-view event in 2021. Or Taylor versus Serrano, the first women's championship fight to headline a card at the famous Madison Square Garden in New York. Remember that one? And don't forget, Ali, Holly Holm, and Wolf have all been inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. And Cecilia Brækhus, who held at least 2 world titles for over 10 years, 26 fights. Plenty of fighters can make a case for being the best of their generation. But which fighters make the top 10 best of the 21st century for the women? Okay. Number 1, the GOAT. Oh, man. I forgot it was out of order. Is that the GOAT? Yeah. Oh, it's in order. I was supposed to show this while I was reading that little bit. That's Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor. My bad. The GOAT, number 1. I was supposed to show that while I was reading the intro, but I messed up. Yeah, that would have been 8, Thomas Hill, right there. That would have been 8. We got Kensaw Love 1 in the building. We got Jarrell Hattie in the building. And we got Al Booger in the building. Salute. Kensaw Love 1, Jarrell Hattie, and Al Booger. Okay, let's talk about these women right quick. You know, we said the men is only fair, you know. Women's boxing is as big as it's ever been right now. Okay? Number 1 is the GOAT. Okay, the GOAT. Now let's just briefly, I ain't trying to bore y'all. Now, after winning 2 Olympic gold medals, currently her record is 16-0, right? 16-0, 3 knockouts. After winning 2 Olympic gold medals as an amateur, 2012 and 2016, Shields has been just as dominant in the professional ranks. She is ESPN's number 1 ranked pound-for-pound women's fighter and has won world titles in 4 weight divisions, right? She got junior middleweight, middleweight, super middleweight, and she's got heavyweight now, right? She's from Michigan, and she has relied on her boxing skills rather than power to deal with most of her opponents. She also competes as a mixed martial arts fighter, although she hasn't in a while. But I guess she's still into that. Coming in at number 2, we got Katie Taylor. KT. There she is. Okay. Now, she is currently 24 wins, just 1 loss, 6 knockouts. I think that was Chantel Cameron, right? Now, Taylor is from Bray in Ireland, but she trains in Vernon, Connecticut. She won an Olympic gold medal at the 2012 Olympics and is a 2-division undisputed world champion. What she was. She won all the belts at lightweight and junior welterweight. I think she dropped some of them at lightweight. Now, she is known for her fast combinations, and she won a world title in just her 7th professional fight, right? And has only been beaten 1 time. Come on, man. Come on, man. Bear with me for a minute. Let me get back to Katie Taylor. I had to come out and go back in. Yeah, Katie has only been beaten 1 time. We was about finished with Katie. Yeah. She won a title in just her 7th professional fight and has only been beaten 1 time, by Chantel Cameron in May 2023. A loss she avenged with a majority decision 6 months later, and that was when she got her 2nd undisputed at 140, right? Taylor's split decision win over Amanda Serrano in 2022 lived up to the expectations of being the biggest fight in the history of women's professional boxing. And I don't think she won the 2nd fight either. I didn't think she won either one of them, to tell you the truth, but the judges did, and that's who count. Speaking of Amanda Serrano, she's next. There she is. Amanda Serrano, the real deal. Currently, she's 47 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 31 knockouts. That is great for women's boxing, 31 knockouts. Yes, it is. Did I miss anybody? Because I'm going to get fired, man. Y'all don't have another new box story, and if I keep missing people. No, I didn't miss nobody. I got everybody. Amanda Serrano. I just work here. Miss Cass is the director of this stuff. Now, Serrano has defied boxing logic by jumping up and down weight classes. It is the only women's boxer to win world titles in more than 4 weight divisions. The Puerto Rican-born, Brooklyn-raised boxer has won world titles in a staggering 7 weight classes. Okay, we got junior bantamweight, junior featherweight, junior lightweight, and junior welterweight. And what was it, featherweight where she was undisputed? I think. Now she was undisputed, yeah, featherweight, right there. Let's read the thing, Cass. Read the thing. She was undisputed featherweight champion in 2023. Undisputed featherweight champion in 2023, right? But I think she dropped the WBC because Mauricio wouldn't sanction the 12 rounds and the 3 minutes for the women, so she dropped that. I think she dropped another one since then too. Not sure which one it was. Okay. Yeah, remember she challenged Taylor. We just talked about that, but yeah, I thought she won, but the judges didn't think so. So yeah, Amanda didn't get to know. I thought she won both of them, tell you the truth. But next is Cecilia Bracken. It's back in order. It didn't get out of order this far up. That's Cecilia. Yeah, she's a model too. Mm-hmm. Cecilia Bracken. Currently, she's still fighting. 38 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, and 9 knockouts for Cecilia Bracken. Now, Colombia-born, based in Norway, Bracken was once the pound-for-pound queen of women's boxing, and she was the first 4-belt undisputed, not the GOAT, first woman, and she was the 3rd person overall, right behind B-Hop and Jermaine Taylor. Yeah. Cecilia was number 3 on the undisputed list. 4-belt, right? And Bracken began boxing mostly in Germany. Boxing was banned in Norway from 81 to 2014, where she's based now. But now it's legal again. And in 2009, she won the WBC and the WBA welterweight world titles. By 2014, she was a 4-belt undisputed champion and reigned until 2020, when she lost a majority decision to Jessica McCaskill. And Cecilia is only one of 5 people to lose all 4 belts at one time. Only 5 had done that. Jessica McCaskill beat Cecilia Bracken for all 4 of them at once. Savannah Marshall beat Fran Chon for all 4 at once. Jermaine Taylor beat B-Hop for all 4 at once. I know Bivol just beat Turbia for all 4 a couple of weeks ago, and there's one more. It's one more, but I can't think of it. Look at my notes. I can't go back and look at that right now. It was a woman though. 3 women did it. Savannah beat Fran Chon. McCaskill beat. Katie Taylor beat Chantel Cameron for all 4 in their second fight, right? So there's only been 5 people that's won all 4 belts in one fight. Bivol just became the 5th one a couple weeks ago. Well, a few weeks ago now, remember? Yeah. And Jessica McCaskill took her 4 belts from her. If she would have won that fight, she was 38 then. She would have beat Joe Louis's streak of 25 straight title defenses, right? Because she was right at 25. And she's still out of this thing. Keep doing this, man. Keep cutting off on me. I'm back. Yeah. And she's about 42 now. Yeah. And she just had a fight last year, remember? Yeah. And then next is Layla Ali. Okay. Top 10 women of the 21st century. Layla Ali. There's Layla. Layla finished her career. She was 24-0 with 21 knockouts. 87.5% knockout rate. Incredible for women's boxing. Incredible. Oh, yeah. Devin did it too. No, Devin had one, T. Hill. Devin took 3 from Cambosis. He had one, remember? Yeah. But Layla, 87.5% knockout rate. Incredible, man. Only 3 people went the distance with Layla. Now, Ali's biggest achievement was living up to expectations of being the daughter of the greatest, Muhammad Ali. 21 of her 24 victories came by knockout as she overpowered her opponents to become the dominant figure in women's boxing in the early 2000s. In 2001, Ali and Jackie Frazier-Lyde became the first women to headline a pay-per-view card. And that was Ali Frazier 4, remember? It was on the anniversary of Ali Frazier's first fight in 1971, the father's. How iconic is that, the daughter's fight on the 30-year anniversary? Wow, that's iconic there. Now, that was the first women to headline a pay-per-view card, and it took 20 years for another woman boxer to achieve that, Clarissa Shields, right? Victories over Valerie Morford twice and Christy Martin were Ali's career highlights. Ali, who lives in Georgia, finished her career fighting in South Africa and contributed significantly to raising the profile of women's boxing, okay? Next, we have the coal miner's daughter, Christy Martin. Yeah, it's back in order. Now, Christy finished her career at 49 wins, 7 losses, 3 draws, 32 knockouts. Christy had popped too. 32 knockouts for Christy, okay? Now, Martin was one of the early pioneers of women's professional boxing, who helped to propel the sport towards wider attention. She appeared on the Mike Tyson-Frank Bruno heavyweight title fight undercard in 1996 on a Showtime pay-per-view event and on many other Tyson undercards. She went on to be a guest star on the TV show Roseanne. It was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Her biggest fights included a win over Mia St. John in 2009 and a 4th-round knockout loss to Layla Ali in 2003. In 2009, Martin won the WBC junior middleweight title by majority decision over Dakota Stone. Her life has been chronicled in many documentaries, and a movie about Martin is in the works, with famed actress Sydney Sweeney portraying her. Maybe it's out by now, because this is from 2024. Maybe it's out by now. Holly Holm, number 7. There's Holly Holm. Holly does MMA too. Now, Holly finished her boxing career 33 wins, 2 losses, 3 draws, 9 by way of knockout, okay? Now, no women's fighter has been as big a hit in both professional boxing and mixed martial arts as Holm. She made 18 world title defenses across 3 weight divisions as the standout star of women's boxing until switching to MMA in 2011. Now, in boxing, she fought mostly in her home city of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and ruled as junior welterweight, and junior middleweight champion from 2004 to 2013. Some of her best moments were wins over Mary Jo Sanders and Sophie Mathis and fellow Hall of Famer Jane Couch. At age 42, Holm is still active as an MMA fighter with a 15-7 record. Wow. Number 8, just got a couple more. Ann Wolfe. Ann Wolfe is number 8. There's Ann. Ann finished her career at 24 wins, 1 loss. She had 16 knockouts. Ann did. 16 knockouts for Ann Wolfe. Okay. I didn't miss anybody, did I? Okay. Ann Wolfe. The 3-division world champion from Texas overpowered most of her opponents. Wolfe produced a first-round KO knockout over Ronda Ward to win 2 light heavyweight titles in 2004 after stopping Marsha Valley for a super middleweight title 2 years earlier. She was also junior middleweight champion and suffered just one defeat. Okay, just one loss in her career. Later, avenged that she lost to Morphin, right? Sarah Morphin, but she did come back and avenge it. After her boxing days, Wolf became a trainer, working with many amateur fighters and former title contender James Kirkland. Yep, he trained James Kirkland. Number 9 is Regina Hammett. Regina Hammett. There's Regina. And Regina finished her career. Regina had 54 wins against just one loss, one draw, 16 knockouts. Wow. 56 fights, just one loss. Had a draw in there, and she had 16 knockouts. Little pop. Regina Hammett. Okay, let's talk about Regina. Just do boxing coming up in about 10, 15 minutes. Okay. Hammett is from Baden-Württemberg, Germany. She was an early pioneer of women's professional boxing in Europe, and she won world titles at junior flyweight, and junior bantamweight. Excuse me. Hammett was world champion for most of her career, and her fights attracted large TV audiences in her home nation. She retired after a staggering 45th title defense. Wow. 45 title defense. That's got to be the record for men or women. 45 title defenses. Come on, man. And number 10, finally, is Jackie Nava. Nava, I don't know. Nava. How you pronounce that? I'm the original butcher when it comes to names. That's Jackie on the left. Sorry, it's so dark. I have some beautiful pictures today. That's about my worst one right there. Okay. Do I have yeah. No, they just 10. It's 1 to 10. Not no kind of worst to best. I don't like doing best to worst. I just like 10 of the top, you know. Somebody always, I just like, these are 10 of the top women on the 21st century, not worst to best. I don't usually do that. I just put the top. That's all. Now, Jackie Nava, she called herself La Princesa Azteca. She's from Tijuana, Mexico. She was a 2-division world champion and one of the most dominant fighters in the junior featherweight division. What's that, 122? History. In women's boxing history, one of the most dominant. Nava won the inaugural WBC junior featherweight title in 2005. And she had 2 spells as junior featherweight champion. In 2014, she unified the WBA and WBC titles by beating Alicia Ashley. And she made 2 defenses as unified world champion. Okay? Jackie Nava. Wow. Okay, yeah, that's 10. That's the women. Don't forget, tomorrow we got Boxing in the State series continue. Oregon. We just doing, we started last year going through every state, little history of boxing in the state, some other significant events that happened in the state concerning boxing, like big fights there, or some famous venues in the states. And then we do a little list up, finish it off with the segment, boxers from that state. And tomorrow it's Oregon. Yep. And Friday is going to be the life and career of Floyd Mayweather Jr. Every Friday we do for the people, might be some new people in, every Friday we do a profile on a former boxer. And it's Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s turn this week. I can't believe we had never did Floyd Mayweather Jr., but I checked, we didn't. So Floyd is tomorrow, well, Friday. Not tomorrow, Friday. We didn't do one last week, remember? Because that was a meet and greet. The meet and greet was very successful. Met all these big famous people from the JBT. Met Jay Hardcore, Ant McQueen, BN Boxing News, and Big Dre, D1, Senior, Squeeze, Ace, met Ace. Jarrell, what's his name? I forgot his name. He's usually in Jay's chat. Met him. Heather E. Met Heather E. Barbara D. Yeah. But I felt like I already knew all these people because we talk almost every day. But met them in person, and they all were exactly like I thought they would be. BN Boxing News. I could hang with BN. Me and BN was pulled up to the bar for a while, chopping it up. Yeah. Somebody came up behind me and said, "Cass Sport." I turned around. BN Boxing News. Yeah, it was wild. It was a very successful event. They said Jamaica next year I won't be able to attend because I don't fly. I ain't get on the airplane. Can you get to Jamaica by boat? I know you can't drive there. Or does the train go to Jamaica? Amtrak go to Jamaica? Other than that, I can't go. I ain't getting on nobody's airplane. That's too far for me. I don't have any wings. No. I used to fly when I was young. I was in the military, but I think about that now. Wow, I was way up there. Not doing that no more. So no, I don't know. Cat Sports won't be at the next one, but I'll be there in spirit. But yeah, this one was great up there in New York, man. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Remo. How can I forget Remo? Remo ain't that short, y'all. They talking about he was short in the last week. He about 5'11". Yeah, he ain't that short. Yeah. Yeah. Remo gave me a great idea. We're gonna start Monday. It's gonna be like an all-star team. We're gonna do every decade starting at 1900. We're gonna do the best boxer in each weight class for every decade. Best boxer in each weight class from 1900 all the way up to 2020s. And some fighters, when it first started, it would only be 8 weight classes. But as we get up through the decade, they started adding the juniors and the super, so there'll be more. But start out, it'd only be 8, what they call the original 8. Yeah, but they call the other ones the junior supers. And we're gonna do that start Monday. On Mondays, so I can have the weekend to work on it. But yeah, that's gonna be. The Remo gave me that idea Friday at the week. Yeah, the best boxing from each weight division in each decade. Yeah, starting that Monday. Just Do Boxing coming up very short. Let me see if I can find. And we ran out of time. See if I can find out what's going on over there today before we jump on over there. Don't forget to hit the like before you go in the door. Hit my like on the way out my door and hit Just Dude's like on the way in his door. Okay? There we go right there. Just Do Boxing today. Let's see here. I'm going to Just Do Boxing today. Former New York State Athletic Commissioner speaks. Tank didn't get exposed. His man's fans were exposed big time. Coming up next on Just Do Boxing. Okay? But I appreciate everybody that was here today. We had Al Booger, Jarrell Hattie, Ken Saw Love 1, Just Do Boxing, Mike Rim, Big Supreme, Mike Mazik, Crush the Legend, Melanin Queen 27, Melanin Queen 27 from the beginning today, Thomas Hill, Azim Shabazz, and of course Miss Cass was here, right? But I appreciate everybody for stopping through today. And join me tomorrow, because if it's Monday through Friday at 2 p.m., it's The Boxtorian bringing you all that boxing history. Just Do Boxing is straight ahead. This is Cass Sports. Appreciate y'all. Everybody have a great afternoon. And I will see y'all around those JBT streets.